a world of liars, backstabbers, and kings who'd burn entire cities for power, one man refused to play the game. Ned Stark, Lord of Winterfell, Hand of the King. He wouldn't lie, wouldn't scheme, wouldn't bend his principles, not even to save his own life. And on the steps of the great sept of Baelor, with his daughters watching, that unbreakable honor shattered against the executioner's blade. Here's the question that still haunts every Game of Thrones fan. Was Ned Stark's honor his greatest strength, or the very thing that doomed him? Today, we're dissecting the code that defined Ned Stark, and whether honor can survive in a world built to destroy it. For Ned Stark, honor wasn't a costume he wore. It wasn't something he talked about at banquets to impress people. It was the architecture of his soul. Honor meant duty, accountability, truth, even when it hurts. The willingness to carry the weight of your own choices publicly without hiding behind someone else. You see it in the very first scene of the series. A terrified deserter from the Night's Watch flees south. Ned rides into the frozen woods, finds him, and draws ice, that massive Valyrian steel greatsword, himself. The man who passes the sentence should swing the sword. No executioner, no delegation. If you're going to take a life, you look them in the eye, and you own it. That's Ned. He protected Jon Snow's secret for 17 years, letting the entire realm believe he'd dishonored his marriage and fathered a bastard. His wife resented him. His reputation suffered. But Jon lived, because Ned would rather be called a hypocrite than break his promise to Lyanna. When Robert ordered the assassination of a pregnant Daenerys Targaryen across the Narrow Sea, Ned resigned as Hand of the King on the spot. "We don't kill children," he said. "Not even potential threats. Not even for political convenience." This wasn't naivety. This was a code forged in fire, in the rebellion that cost him his father and brother, in the war that turned friends into corpses, in the promises made at the Tower of Joy. It was the only way Ned knew how to be. And here's what's easy to forget when we're watching him march toward his doom. That code built something extraordinary. The North remembers Ned Stark because he earned their loyalty through decades of consistency. His bannermen didn't follow him out of fear. They followed him because they knew he would never ask them to do something he wouldn't do himself. He handed down that integrity like an inheritance. Arya's sense of justice, her refusal to let the guilty escape unpunished. That's Ned. Jon's leadership at Castle Black, uniting wildlings and Northmen, making the impossible alliances. That's Ned. Even Sansa, who initially rejected her father's world for southern glamour, ultimately becomes the Lady of Winterfell by embracing the Stark Code. Protect your people. Keep your word. Remember who you are. Even his enemies respected him. Stannis Baratheon, rigid, unforgiving Stannis, called Ned a man of honor. Jaime Lannister, who mocked everyone, never mocked Ned's integrity. In a different world, in a system designed for justice instead of power, Ned Stark would have thrived. His honor wasn't just a personal code. It was a beacon that lit the way for everyone around him. But beacons have a problem. They're easy to see. And in King's Landing, they make you a target. The moment Ned rides through the gates of King's Landing, we're watching a tragedy in slow motion. Because Ned makes one fundamental, catastrophic assumption: that everyone else has a flaw, a line they won't cross, a baseline of human decency. He thought Cersei, when cornered and offered mercy, would take her children and flee. He thought Littlefinger, who smiled and made promises about securing the City Watch, was a pragmatic ally. He thought the small council would honor Robert's final wishes. He was wrong. Compare Ned to Tywin Lannister. Tywin understood that reputation is a weapon, fear is a tool, mercy is a luxury. When Tywin needed to end a rebellion, he orchestrated the Red Wedding. It broke every rule of honor, every law of decency, but it worked. When Ned needed to secure the throne, he went to Cersei in the Godswood and gave her advance warning. Take your children and go. When Robert returns from his hunt, I'm telling him everything. He believed he was protecting innocent children. What Cersei heard was opportunity. Within hours, Robert was dead. Within days, she controlled the throne. Ned handed his enemy the one thing you never give them: time. The tragedy isn't that he showed mercy. The tragedy is that he showed mercy to someone who saw it as weakness. So here's where it gets complicated. Is honor meaningless if it gets you killed? Could Ned have been both good and effective? Look at the characters who try to split the difference. Jon Snow bends his vows and survives, until his own men stab him. Tyrion Lannister adapts and survives, but loses pieces of himself. Daenerys starts with mercy, and ends by burning a city. The system corrupts everyone who tries to work within it. But Ned wouldn't bend, not even to save himself. Would you have done the same? When the world demands you lie, betray your principles, sacrifice your integrity, do you stand firm, or do you bend just enough to live another day? Ned's tragedy isn't that he was wrong about honor. It's that he was right, and the world punished him for it anyway. Ned Stark lost his head on the steps of the Great Sept, but he never lost his soul. His death ignited a continent. Robb marched south because justice mattered. Jon led because leadership meant service. Arya hunted the guilty because actions demand consequences. Even Sansa, after learning the game from monsters, rejected their cynicism. She ruled not by scheming, but by embodying her father's integrity with the wisdom he lacked. The question Game of Thrones asks isn't whether honor can win. It's whether a world without honor is worth winning. Maybe the real tragedy isn't that honor failed Ned Stark. Maybe it's that the world wasn't built to deserve him. So was Ned Stark's honor his greatest strength or his fatal flaw? Both. He lived by his principles when everyone else abandoned theirs. He believed others shared his baseline humanity. He was a hero in a world that kills heroes. And he wouldn't have been Ned Stark if he'd been anything else. Do you believe honor has a place in the pursuit of power? Or is it just a death sentence? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Winter came, the lessons stayed. Thanks for watching.